Good morning and happy Friday. I was really pleased with the way you all began working on the editing project that I assigned, kind of in the spirit of Jimmy Fallon and Brian Williams, taking a presentation and picking out individual words to combine them into a rap song. And I saw a lot of different workflows going on, most of which seem to work pretty well, and I wanted to show you the workflow that I use most commonly when I'm working on an editing project, just to see how it fits in with what you're currently doing. Right now, I see a blank screen in front of me. Before I open Premiere, I wanted to show you that in my Finder window, under Documents, I've created a folder called Premiere Projects. And when I open that folder, there's the AMO flag folder, and it contains both the Premiere project files, the raw media, a couple of folders that Premiere creates automatically as you begin editing, and then a final version of the video. There's one called Flag Final, and there's a version I cut to be specifically shown on an iPad. And I've done something similar for Ice Ice Baby. I've created a folder called Ice Videos, and right now it contains the raw media. I discovered the other day that this initial video presentation that I uploaded didn't have all of the words that we needed to cut together the first verse. And it took me a while, but I managed to cut a few more, and so I've downloaded all these from Google Drive and put them in their own folder. So I'm going to open Premiere and let Premiere do its thing, let it find its brain. And I'm going to start a new project. I realize you already have a project underway, but what I'm getting ready to show you is easier if I show you how it's done from the beginning of a new project. So bear with me. I know it won't look exactly like your workspace. New project, I'm going to call it Ice, and I got to make sure that I save it in the appropriate folder. Premiere Projects, I'm actually going to browse and save it in Ice Videos, just so all my files are together, and that also works well for backup purposes. I choose that. It's going to be an HDV capture since it's HD video, and click OK. It's taking a second to create the project here. There we go. Okay, we see the typical workspace laid out in front of us. And notice over here, this bottom left window actually contains a lot of different tabs. And when mine initially popped up, it was on the Effects tab. The Project folder is where we import media to begin editing together. And all you have to do is double click. And again, for the sake of illustration, ideally we should have all of these imported. But to demonstrate what I'm going to do, I'm going to import just the first video presentation that we worked with the other day. And so we see that the video presentation is in the project bin, and if I double click it, it appears in the source monitor up on the top left. And this is where I can begin taking what's called the CTI, the current time indicator, left clicking and holding, and scrubbing. Scrubbing is the process where you quickly use the CTI to shuttle back and forth to find something particular. But I'm going to jump all the way to the beginning, basically by using this Go to In button, and I'm going to press play. Okay, this is just a brief video presentation. Listening where along. I'm going to ask you to stop. Okay, there's the word stop, and we know that the word stop appears fairly early in the song. I'm going to use my left arrow key and go back frame by frame, and you get pretty good at reading lips after a little while. Okay, there's the beginning of stop. You can hear that S sound going. I'm going to go right there, leave my CTI right where I begin saying the S and stop, and I'm going to press the I button on my keyboard to mark an endpoint. And I'm going to use the right arrow key to shuttle forward or scrub forward. Okay, there's the end of stop and the beginning of 4. So I'm going to put the CTI right about there and mark an out point. This is 17 frames worth of video. The word stop doesn't even take me a second to say. So now that I've marked an in and an out point, I want to use that word, but I want to go through and find more words before I start putting things together. There's a feature in Premiere called subclipping. And if you go up to Clip on your menu bar, you have an option to make subclips out of whatever you've marked as an in and out point in the larger video. Also notice next to that to the right is a keyboard command, Command U. So I'm going to left click, make subclip. I'm going to give it a name, and the name, aptly enough, is going to be stop. And hit enter. So now I have my overall video presentation, and then I have another clip that consists just of the word stop. So I can double click that, press play, stop, and there's the word stop. So I can go back and double click my video presentation again and begin searching for other words. I'm going to go to my out point by using this go to out option for a moment and think about all the different things we've gone through for the past few weeks. Listen. I appreciate you taking some time to listen. Okay, stop, collaborate, listen. We just heard the word listen. So I'm going to shuttle back using my left arrow key. Okay, there's the beginning of listen. I for endpoint. And there's the end of listen, roughly, out. This one's a whole 19 frames worth of video. How about that? Command U to make a subclip. We name it listen, and we click OK. So now I have stop, and I can take that entire clip and drag it down to the timeline. Now you'll notice the timeline populated, but there's not much there. I can use the plus button, which is up on the top right next to delete, to zoom in to the timeline and make that 17 to 19 frames of video actually look pretty big. I can click on listen. I can actually double click listen, my bad, and drag and drop next to stop. And if I want to preview the whole sequence, stop, listen. Stop, listen. Now, I know that's not the exact wording, but during class I'll show you the cut-together product that I put together yesterday. But I highly recommend the process of making subclips using the clip make subclip option, or Command U. And then once you find all the words and you have them appropriately named, you can lay them out on your timeline in order fairly quickly. And that's the workflow that a lot of editors use, is they go through and pick out the pieces they need and then go back and lay them out so that they have a rough cut put together fairly quickly. It's nothing that's beyond your capability. It's muscle memory. It's a workflow. And I think you guys will do just fine. I just wanted to show you the subclip option so that you could go in and clip out little pieces without having to worry about the order right away. I appreciate you taking time to stop, collaborate, and listen on this video tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and again, have a great Friday.